Hello everybody. If you are watching this video, then you must be a teacher or a student of Standard 9. And if you like this video, then hit the bell button and consider subscribing to this channel. We all have been on a road before. We all must have noticed such a view. What do you call the area that separates the two roads? There are three boys. Can you identify where the boy in the yellow shirt standing? Here is a kid. Another is an old man. How do we call the man in the middle? In a general timeline, a period of time is referred to as ancient age and another modern age. If so, then how do we call the period in between those two periods of time? This lesson is about state and society in India during the medieval period. After watching this video, you must be able to identify the various dynasties from the Cholas to the Mughals, influence of Islam on the socio-cultural life of people, institutional and administrative changes, developments in the fields of literature, art and agriculture, progress in maritime trade, commerce and urbanization. Politically, India was vibrant during the period. The Muslims came all the way from Central Asia. The Vijayanagar kings controlled the whole of southern India. Traders as far as from Europe established their factories and set up markets. India is a land of wealth. Persian and Afghan warlords wanted to be a part of it, and they introduced Islam to India. The CE stands for Common Era. During the 12th century Common Era, Muhammad Ghori and his horde of horsemen marched on India. They captured Delhi and appointed Qutb-ud-Din Aibak as governor of India. Since then, several Muslim rulers have settled in parts of northern India. During the 13th century Common Era, Alauddin Khilji established his own empire. A very ambitious man, he sent his general Malik Kafur with a large army to conquer the Deccan. Here is a list of the various Muslim dynasties that ruled India from the 13th century. First is the Ghori dynasty, and next is the Khalji dynasty. This dynasty ruled only for a very short period, followed by the Tughlaq dynasty, and then came the Lodi dynasty, whose last ruler, Ibrahim Lodi, was defeated by Babur in the Battle of Panipat, and who subsequently established his own empire, the Mughal dynasty. The empires of the south. The Chola Empire, followed by the Vijayanagar Empire, ruled southern India during the medieval period. When we look at the dynasties of the south, this timeline will help us understand the Tamil dynasties of the Cheras, the Cholas and the Pandyas. Somewhere from the 3rd to the 7th century, Tamilagam was ruled by the Calabras. Calabras were followers of Buddhism. Though their period is described as a dark period by historians, their contribution to art and architecture is noteworthy. In this lesson, we will be seeing about state and society during the Chola period. The rulers of the south. The Chera, Chola and the Pandya rulers were collectively referred to as the three Vendors. They continued to rule Tamilagam till the 12th century. King Rajaraja I and Rajendra Chola were prominent among them. When we look into the Chola administration, it was clearly decentralized, each unit looking after itself. At the base is the Ur and Kotam on top. The Chola rulers built many temples and sustained them with huge donations. Chola kings granted villages as gifts to the Brahmins, which were called Brahmadeya. Vijayanagar Empire. Somewhere around the 13th century Common Era, the Vijayanagar Empire from the Andhra region defeated the three Vendors and established their supremacy in the whole of southern India. Notable among them is Krishnadeva Raya. The Vijayanagar Administration. The Vijayanagar administration was basically a military form of state. Regions were entrusted to military officers called Nayaks and Palayakaras. Since the country was run on behalf of the king, administration in the Vijayanagar Empire became more centralized. Next, we move our attention to northern India. In northern India, an empire was established by Babur in 1526. By the 17th century, the whole of India was under the Mughal rule. The British finally annexed the Mughal Empire in 1857. Muslim influence. Many Arab and Persian migrants had settled in India. They made an impact on the culture of this land. An exchange of customs, traditions, and ideas took place. This made the society more mixed. Europe had a great hunger for Indian goods. The Arab merchants had earlier supplied Europe with Indian merchandise. But after the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the European nations ventured to trade directly with India. So they established settlements in Goa, Madras, Calcutta, etc. Now we will see about the society in medieval India. Caste. In ancient India, society was segregated on the basis of the agamas, which subsequently led to the birth of caste system, with the sutras at the bottom the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Brahmins on top. But in medieval India, the divisions between the various groups became very prominent. Religion. India is the birthplace of Buddhism and Jainism. But during the medieval period, both Buddhism and Jainism faded out in India. A Bhakti movement helped revive Hinduism. A new religion called Sikhism was born in northern India, and Christianity thrived in areas of European influence. Literature, art, and architecture. In southern India, works such as Ramayana, Periyapuranam, etc. were written. The Tanjavur Big Temple is a great example of monumental architecture. The bronze image of Nataraja statue is a great example of art. Mughal literature, art, and architecture. The Mughals in northern India built many palaces, mosques, tombs, gardens, and even cities. Notable among them are Shahjahanabad and Fatehpur Sikri. During the Mughal period, paintings drawn in very small, intricate patterns adorned their architecture. When we speak of the Vijayanagar architecture, their towers and gopurams were intricately carved. A new style of Tamil literature called Prabandham emerged. Venkatamaki codified the ragas of Carnatic. Economy. Agriculture formed the backbone of a medieval economy. Water management was given priority. Firoz Shah Tughlaq built a large network of canals in Delhi. The wheel technology, a Persian invention, was used extensively. As a result, a variety of food and cash crops were grown. The Europeans introduced maize and tobacco. A man is not complete without his clothing. A variety of textiles were produced. To make them more colorful, dyes of various colors were prepared. The color blue was derived from a crop called indigo, and indigo was cultivated on a large scale. Indian textiles had great demand in European markets. Non-agricultural production. We've already seen that economy in medieval India was primarily agricultural. But man cannot live by bread alone. People manufactured a variety of goods. Some of them, like pots, pans, and textiles, etc., were goods of daily use. Men specialized themselves in various crafts. Commerce. Although there were many cities then, Villages were the basic geographical unit of production. What a community required was produced in the surrounding areas itself. Though the kings and rulers minted and distributed currencies and coins, the barter system of exchange was still prevalent. Urbanization. In those days, people lived in small villages. Kings and rulers built cities to showcase their ingenuity and prosperity. In Tamilagam, temples were the center of worship as well as attraction. And so people settled around temples, which subsequently resulted in urbanization. Thank you for attending my class.